Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Zach Plesac returns to the mound tonight for the Indians, 2 days after Mike Clevenger helped the Tribe get a win. For those who think that Plesac got a bad deal, you're probably right. His night out with friends in Chicago might have cost him $3 to $4 million in salary space. As for the trade, you don't trade a pitcher when you're looking for a bat, especially when you're tied for first place at the time. There's something more to this whole story, but we're not going to find out about it for a long, long time. We've got Bud Shaw here tonight. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, powered by cleveland.com. And Bud Shaw is here. It is a Tuesday night. Bud, we're going to mess people up and say that we're making a change here and moving you to Monday nights, except next Monday is Labor Day. So you're still with the old schedule, and then you'll be on Monday starting 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's like being moved up in the batting order, Russ. I'm gonna try to keep the same approach that I had.
Is that because the guys on the Indians team in the lineup aren't hitting at all? And how do you explain that? These are major league play. They're not just in bad shape or struggling. They're double struggling here. Well, how do you explain that?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I looked at this lineup going into it, and I think we all had questions about the outfield. As we have for quite a few years. But you just didn't see, I still saw a lineup that was going to support good pitching. And I think that I haven't changed my opinion, Les, that they can still win the division. So I don't know what I'm looking at exactly, except a bunch of guys that are feeling the pressure of a truncated season.
Yeah.
You like the word?
I said this last night that it's a trade they probably had to make. I think they had to get rid of Clevenger for a variety of reasons. But as I did the commentary, they were not a better team yesterday at 6 o'clock Eastern time than they were in the morning. When the morning came along and they made that announcement of the early trade with San Diego, I said, well, all right, that's a start. But what they wound up getting was 6 players, 5 of them prospects, not even great prospects, and 1 backup catcher who arguably they needed. But they didn't really get anything that helped their needs.
Well, I have a theory.
We had Anthony Lima last night. Go ahead.
I'm going to steal Anthony's bid. I have a theory that they're not chasing a title this year. They want to win one. They're not chasing it. And they're not going to make a deal based on immediate return if they think they can help themselves over the next few years. And I'm coming around to thinking, Les, that that's not a bad approach. Are you, as a Cleveland Indians fan, going to feel every bit as good about a playoff run in a 60-game season or a possible World Series berth in a 60-game season as you would in 162?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, 2 months ago I would have said no, but I'm coming around to it. I just enjoy seeing baseball so much that whatever comes with it, and let's just take whatever you get in 2020 and then move on from there. Hopefully they don't that they don't duplicate this in other years. This is a fluke year. They did what they had to do. Now let's get back to real baseball. I was thinking about this. You've got new ways of looking at statistics, whether it's whatever it is, whichever way it is, new names, new paragraphs, new, I don't know, whatever, new words for it. And I can't imagine that gets anybody who's not interested in baseball. I can't imagine that gets anybody interested in it. If you're trying to bring some friends, let's say you're 35, 40 year older, and you've got friends who are not baseball fans, do you think they're going to come to be baseball fans when they hear about WAR and whatever other names they come up with these stats?
No, but I think that fits the need of a certain demographic of people who are really into that kind of stuff. And I don't think it'll scare the other people away, because it's, how many times are you watching an Indians game now where you get beat over the head with advanced statistics from the commentators? That's generally, I don't want to say we used to call baseball writers seam heads, you know. That's kind of an insider baseball statistical approach still. So when I watch an Indians game, I'm not, if I were coming new to it, I don't feel like I would be like, wait, what are they talking about with all this crazy stuff?
Yeah. Well, I'll go one step further, because I think the Fox box, as they call it, where they have balls and strikes and score and all that stuff, innings, and I just think they're loaded with too much information that gets in the way. I think that there are a couple other things that I would change. One of them would be I would immediately fire any baseball announcer who tried to tell me what I just saw on instant replay when I know that the umpire is going to make a decision that has nothing to do with what we just saw. I think if they start talking and explaining it, they should be fined and suspended for weeks upon weeks.
Yeah, I got you. I understand what you're saying there. I just, I still love the game too, but I'm coming around to the thought that this season is going to be an asterisk for every fan base in the league right now. And I know somebody's going to win at the end, but I just wonder if they're going to feel anywhere near as good about winning in a 60-game season with expanded playoffs, with a runner on second base and extra innings, with 7-inning doubleheaders. I just think that the Indians, whether they consciously have decided this or not, I don't think they were going to hold Clevenger out until they got one player that they thought would help them this year.
You're probably right. You're probably right. The other thing is that, in 1981, when they had the strike and the All-Star game came back to Cleveland, and they did half standings where you could win the first half and somebody else can win the second half. There's an asterisk there, but that doesn't bother anybody. I can't even tell you who won that year, but I'm sure their fans are okay with what the outcome was.
Yeah, and maybe if this were a little longer season and it had that first half, second half, and you had playoff, you'd feel like there was a longer grind to it. But 68, where are the Indians right now in the game, and how many games they've played and how many they have left?
They're a half game behind.
It's gone. No, but I mean, how many games they have left? 20, 25? More?
Yeah, something like that.
It just feels like it's gone by in the blink of an eye,
Which it has. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud will be here. He's been part of well over 20 years of this show, 25 of them now here on the TV version of More Sports and Less Levine. Bud, we're going to try to get, Casey Blake and Lonnie Chisenhall, guys like that, and tell them how much, when they were in Cleveland, how much they enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I like the idea that the guys that got the Les Levine bump, we'll call it, right after you talked about them, their careers took off.
Right.
Or didn't. I can't remember which way that went.
216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. And we had a Facebook question of the day. What do you think of the Mike Clevenger trade? Well, first of all, Bud, you want to add anything to what you've said so far?
No, I just think as I sat back and looked at it and developed my theory, I like the pieces that they got back. I don't know that any one of those guys is going to help them in 2020, but I do like the pieces that they got back.
Well, they weren't going to get a star. I think this is all part of unloading Lindor and anybody else. They're going to unload, I would assume, you're going to need a new first baseman next year, among other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that listen, I thought originally, Les, that Clevenger would be a guy that you'd have to really be convinced you got a great deal before you traded him, because you still can control him for a couple of years. I understand that when he goes to arbitration over the next 2 years, that number is probably going to get bigger than the Indians want to pay.
No question about it.
Here's the thing about Clevenger, real quick, Les. people look at him and they go, oh, well, he's been injured, and he has been. He's got this violent delivery. You know, the Indians have in the past kind of identified guys like CC and Bartolo that they thought their bodies wouldn't hold up because of the size of those two guys in particular. Not necessarily their throwing motions, but their size. And they had pretty long careers. So I wouldn't be convinced by anybody right now that Clevenger is going to continue to get hurt and not be a productive pitcher in this league. I think he will be.
What do you think of the Clevenger trade? Larry Pantages says, too many moving parts to judge right now. The scouts can be wrong. Remember the high expectation for Matt Laporta, but winning means anything. But winning means nothing in October's playoffs this year, like getting a ribbon in the high school class for participation. And Andy Mees says Antonetti and Chernoff threaded the needle by adding needs to the big league roster while still getting much needed minor league depth at shortstop for when Lindor leaves. San Diego has one of the best farm systems, coupled with Antonetti and Chernoff's track record of wheeling and dealing at the midseason. Gives me reason to believe the trade will benefit the Tribe for many years to come. You'd like to believe that. I'm not sure what you're seeing that is making you think that. Glenn Berger says the Indians didn't acquire enough help offensively to help them this year. Another left-handed hitting outfielder will probably sit against left-handed pitching like Zimmers and Bowers and Naquin until Naquin proved that he could hit left-handers. Naylor rather, has had only 36 at-bats at the big league level. I can't imagine he's ready to face big league pitching. Lee Sutley says, including Greg Allen was the best part of the trade. Wow. Wow. All right, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw with us. Football coming right around the corner. So is baseball. We'll talk about that when we get back. More Sports with Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Bud, given the Indians' recent track record involving trades, it probably doesn't come as a surprise that they traded Mike Clevenger yesterday. Bradford Doolittle of ESPN looked at the Indians' trade and termed them as one of the losers of the MLB trade deadline. They said dealing Clevenger was not the end of the world, and the Indians still have plenty of starting pitching. I'll also be watching to see what they do with Quantrill. Still, does this club have some kind of pathological aversion to everyday outfielders? You look at the trade, aside from the 3 major leaguers that the Indians got, they got 3 minor leaguers from the Padres system, number 7 in their farm system, number 9 ranked, and number 11 ranked. So Les, Bud, my question is to you is this. Did they get enough for the Mike Clevenger trade?
Well, it looks like a wash to me because it didn't help them win this division this year, and it didn't. I don't believe it's designed to help them in the future. I don't know. I just think I think they did it for other reasons than winning baseball games. But what do you think?
Well, Les, let me ask you a question. Why do you say it wasn't designed to help them win in the future? What is it about this trade that makes you think that?
7, 9, and 11.
I mean, those are not good prospects. You think they should have been higher for Mike Clevenger?
Well, I will say that the San Diego Padres are very well thought of as far as their minor league system is concerned. So a number 7 on that team might be different from number 7s on other teams. I think I know there's. I mean, I don't know how Larry Dolan, or Paul Dolan rather, feels about asterisks and winning and all that stuff. Maybe he doesn't want any part of winning it because of that, and wants to wait until he can, win it the regular way. But I don't think he did anything to help or hurt whatever his plans were for this year.
Well, I mean, I think that they still want to win, but I just don't think they're going to chase it. I mean, I don't. To me, I don't know what deal they could have made that would have made people happy. Was Mike Clevenger going to bring back the number 1 or number 2 prospect in somebody's organization?
No, probably not. Probably not. That's a good question. What are the? I heard a lot of people on radio the last 2 days talking about the Indians and saying that, well, for economic reasons, they want to contend and be in the hunt and all that, but they don't really care if they win or lose. Now, I don't believe that for one second. I think the competitive nature of guys who are rich enough to own baseball or any kind of sports franchises want to win the game. They don't want to show up as a second-place finisher or a participant at the league meetings. But did they put themselves in any better condition to win by yesterday's dealings as opposed to improving themselves or losing points in this thing? I don't
think they made themselves a more credible winner in 2020 by yesterday's deal.
They do.
I'll agree with that part. I'll also say that if a month from now Orlando Mercado is showing some signs of being the guy that we thought he was coming into this season, maybe the glaring hole in the outfield won't be as maybe that hole in the outfield won't be as glaring. And Les, you hit on it in the beginning of this thing. I mean, maybe they just felt after the situation that occurred this year in Chicago with Clevenger, lying about being out and those kinds of things. Maybe they felt that this was the best way to clear the.
I clearly think that's what happened here.
The anger in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I clearly believe that's what happened, and they couldn't have. I mean, there's no secret to the fact that the two have departed ways here. One was in Eastlake at the time. There's no secret to why the timing of that was done. I just think that Terry Francona was in on that decision. All of the front office people, Antonetti, Chernoff, the whole thing, they seemed all to be behind it, and they let it play out a little bit before they determine what they're going to do. And then I think they all came to the same conclusion that the two can't coexist. They can coexist with each other, but not with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think that was probably a factor. But I believe that the Indians usually work from a long range perspective, and they probably saw those arbitration numbers on Clevenger going to a place that they didn't want to deal with it, especially given the fact that he has been injured over the next couple of years. Did this Chicago situation maybe propel them to make a deal this year? Maybe it did. But if they were really throwing the towel in on the season, then I think we probably would have seen them dangle Lindor out there and just tear it all down. I don't know. I mean, listen, maybe the question for people tuning in is, do you think the Indians will win the division now, or make the playoffs? And if
I don't think what they did yesterday makes it. I don't think
both of those things are possible, then I don't think this trade hurt them in any way.
No,
sure.
but if it's a break-even thing where there's no answer to that. They didn't appear to make themselves better, nor did it appear they made themselves worse. They just had an opportunity, I believe, to make something happen, and they chose not to do it. Now, on the other hand, so many teams are going to be eligible here or still in the hunt. I imagine you're going to have a heck of a sprint down the stretch last week or 10 days of the season here, which is coming up soon, by the way. And I think a lot of teams think they can still win it. I mean, think about that. You go down the stretch and you've got, 20, 22 games left, and you just know that out of that 20 games left in the season, if you can just win, 16 of them, 14 of them, if you can do that, you can do quite well and probably win your division. And by the way, the division, you want to win the division. You want your games at home, even though your fans won't be there.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm still willing to give this front office benefit of the doubt when it comes to trades, because I think for the most part they've done pretty well.
Yeah, not with position players, but with pitchers they certainly have.
Well, they certainly have traded. I understand what the point about their aversion to everyday outfielders, but certainly they thought Mercado was going to be one of those. But yeah, I still think that we need to, not that we have any choice but to watch how this plays out, but I'm not ready to condemn the trade because they didn't get an everyday outfielder back, because I just don't know that was a possibility.
Well, so why did they make that trade that day?
What's that?
Why did they make that trade at that particular time? I mean, you look at it now, you analyze it and you hope they'll get better, but there's nothing in the deal that makes you think that they will.
So you would have kept them till the end of the year then and tried to trade them? Is that
Yeah, unless they were clear that that was the best offer they were going to get. They certainly know San Diego's farm system as well as San Diego does, with the amount of trades they've made.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate point. Yeah, I guess if you look at it as, did they help themselves win a division title in 2020? The answer is probably not.
Yeah, they're going to either win it or not win it, as silly as that sounds. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Do you think this trade yesterday or yesterday's happenings have anything to do at all with Francisco Lindor?
In what way?
Will it push up the timetable? Will it push it back? Will it? They could still use him for next year. If they wanted to do that and walk away, they could. I doubt that they will, but they could.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they feel they recognize that they only have one chance to bring back the kind of haul that his talent warrants. And if that deal wasn't there right now, they weren't going to rush into it in this season. And I think they feel like his talent is always going to be in demand. And you can say, well, if there's if a team might give up more this year for Lindor to control him longer than they might at the end of this season. But again, I think there's just a lot of teams that are looking at this as a weird season, that they're not going to change their organizational thinking to try to win a title this year.
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at reallslevine@gmail.com. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, plus the website. You want to check that out before you go out the door. And you've got West 140th Street on the west side near the airport, and Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, as well as Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Or go to northeastfactorydirect.com for more information. We'll come back in a moment. Bud Shaw with us. Tomorrow night it's the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Yeah, he's a mature guy. You know, he's focused. He hasn't talked much, which is good for a rookie. But he comes in and he handles his business. And you know, from my perspective, every time the ball comes his way, he's making a play on it, and he pops right up when he gets hit, and he's just doing all the right things you want to see in a rookie. And you know, he's a little smaller than some of the other tight ends, but he goes in there and he just tries to fight, and that's all you can really ask for those tight ends. I mean, they're not used to blocking, 280-pound defensive ends, and he comes out there and he attacks them, and he's he wants to be a part of it, and that's really all you can ask for from a rookie. And he's focused, and he doesn't really make those mental mistakes. But from what I can see from the receiving aspect, every day he's coming down with a sweet catch or a nice touchdown, and those are all exciting things.
Yeah, Harrison's done a nice job. To his credit, he really, really is a diligent worker, a student of this game. We've moved him around the formation, moved him to different positions, and he hasn't missed a beat. So pleased with where he is, and congrats to him on that award.
Obviously, it's nice to like your work and stuff to be noticed, but it's practice, and that was my goal, was to just come out and show what I can do whatever I can to make the team and help the team win. And I feel like I've done that so far, and I'm just looking to continue to improve every day, and just whenever I get my opportunities, the rest of camp or whether that's in season, in the game, is to just go out and produce.
Hey, Harrison, what areas do you think if there's like maybe one or two things you think you improved on the most in the last 3 weeks or so?
For me, the biggest thing was just technique within the new concepts and new schemes of everything I was learning. The biggest thing for me was just coming in mentally prepared, knowing what to do, and then really the techniques and stuff came along with more reps and stuff within practice. So that was my biggest thing, was just really focusing on fundamentals within run blocking and the details of just a little route intricacies. And Hooper and everyone in the tight room has really helped me out, as well as Coach Petzing. So it's been really eye-opening, and I've learned a lot of stuff throughout.
So winner of the Maurice Bassett Award. Nobody in this place has ever heard of Maurice Bassett except for me. Played with the Browns in the late 50s. Myles Garrett won it last year. Before that, it was Baker Mayfield, Mac Wilson, and Harrison Bryant is the winner now. It's a nice award to have. You want to be Mr. Nice Guy at camp, or do you want to make the team and make a lot of money?
Yeah, there you go.
That
If
would
I
be
could
nice.
ask Harrison Bryant one question, I'd ask him when his 16th birthday is going to be. How young looking are these players these days? Les, do I sound like an old guy now?
Yeah, you're right there. No question about it. He was telling me, Harrison Bryant was saying, when I was a kid, I used to watch more sports than Les Levine all the time.
The other thing I would like to see, by the way, is you with a Batonio beard by the end of this year.
I didn't. When I just saw that, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good look on you.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. All right, so Harrison Bryant's drawing attention. What does that have to do, if anything, with David Njoku? I think that he was demanding a trade for a while. I think Cleveland wanted to see what they had behind him, and I think they found out. So maybe they might be more amenable to a trade right now than they were a month ago.
Well, I think just as Tristan McKenzie's debut may have made the Indians feel a little better about dealing another pitcher, in addition to already dealing Bauer and Kluber. I could see where this could, give the Browns some consideration if Njoku either doesn't perform or instates his wish to get traded.
Yeah.
Now you have another tight end behind Hooper that you trust to make catches.
Now it looks like they got some good news injury-wise. Mac Bryant, looked like. Pardon me?
Mac Wilson.
Mac Wilson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mac Wilson looked like he's going to be out for the year with season-ending surgery. It turns out he doesn't need that, so maybe he won't miss more than a handful of games. That's some good news. And Greedy Williams was practicing. Maybe they've turned the tide here. They went 3 days without hurting anybody. That's pretty good for this team.
Yeah, I did see some speculation that the Colts, who have been a trade partner of the Browns in the past, lost their tight end to a strained calf. He's going to miss some time, and that maybe there's an opportunity to move Njoku to the Colts and for a guy that they didn't pick up the option year on Malik Hooker, Ohio State. But I don't think that's a straight up trade for sure. I think Malik Hooker would command more than that.
But as we get close to the season, and it looks like, despite all arguments against it, it looks like we will in fact get the season underway. How crazy is it going to be, or do you think it'll settle into a regular season kind of a situation once you get to the second or third week?
It's just so, it's like baseball, Les. Originally I thought it was the strangest, visual that I'd seen, with nobody in the stands. I think in the weeks that have followed, I've been less observant of that. And you care more about the pitching matchups and the game situations. And I think in football, we'll probably have that initial sort of like, wow, this is weird. Is this even going to work? And I would think a couple weeks into it, we're probably going to be especially with football, because the cameras, there's no fan base in the camera shot when it's focused on the field. So I think we'll probably get beyond the strangeness of it within the first week or two, especially if the competition is good.
If you've been watching the games on on TV, for the most part, they've really done a great job with the music, the hand clapping, all that stuff. I mean, you listen up, and it's for the most part they're right on with their sights and sounds of the game. So kudos to them. I don't think I've used the word kudos before, but.
Yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. Bud, are you following the basketball playoffs at all?
I got to say, I haven't really followed it closely. I don't know. I think it's in part because the Cavs weren't invited back when the season resumed. So there wasn't that rooting interest, of the local team, or at least watching the local team play against. So I've watched LeBron because I'm still curious as to and intrigued and amazed, if that's the right word, at how well he can play this late into his career. But beyond that, I haven't watched on a daily basis to see who's winning each series.
Yeah, they're telling me there's great games, and I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We've had a lot of people ask about the Parkinson's Walk coming up. Well, the virtual walk is coming up in 2 weeks, but my team's walk is coming up this coming Sunday at 9:45. It's really 10 o'clock, but we're saying 9:45, and that's at where you want to be is at Acacia. It's a preserve now. It used to be a great golf course, but we'll be there at about 10:45. That's this Sunday. If you want to join us, please do. We'd love to see you, whether you contributed to this fund or not. We appreciate it. My team's name, if you're looking for it, is Moving More with Less, and that's coming up. It does say the 13th. That's the entire country is when they'll have it, but our team is going to have it on the 5th, and that'll be at Acacia, and that's on Cedar Road near right across from Beechwood Place at Sherry Park. Let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Bud, it's been discussed a number of times as to why Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham seemed out of sync in 2019. Hall of Famer wide receiver Terrell Owens gave his take as to why he thought Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham seemed out of sync, and it may not come as a surprise that he's leaning more of the blame towards Baker Mayfield. He said, obviously Odell is a great talent. It's very misleading to say that he had a down year. He had some great catches. There were some flashes of that. But again, playing with an injured hip, I can't imagine what that feels like. Trying to play through that, it's not all his fault. You break down the game tape, the guy was open and the ball was thrown high, thrown behind him, thrown low. Their season is going to ride on Odell and Landry, so hopefully they're working through those things and they're healthy. Baker is better than he was last year. That offense of that team is not going to go anywhere if Baker is not being the leader there. So, Les, Spud, when you look at Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham, between those two guys, who do you think has the better chance to break out and have a phenomenal 2020?
Well, how often do you see a retired player call out the quarterback of another team? You don't see that very often.
Yeah, those wide receivers tend to stick up for each other, you know.
Well, what do you think?
Well, listen, I don't think it was one thing or the other. I think it was both. I think Mayfield didn't have a very good season. I think he underestimated the challenge of coming in and playing again as a second-year quarterback. But that doesn't mean that Odell Beckham Jr. was where he was supposed to be on some routes. So I don't think – I think we're choosing sides, you know, just for the sake of conversation if we try to say which one was more responsible. But clearly, Les, for them to be good next year, Baker Mayfield is the guy that's going to have a good year because the ball's in his hands, and he's the one that's going to decide where it goes under pressure.
Yeah.
So I guess I believe I agree with that part of the assessment. But you know, the other thing about that is that do you know anybody that's killing Odell Beckham Jr. for a horrible season? I mean, I know people think that he was he wasn't on the field enough to have good chemistry with Mayfield early in the year, in training camp and early in the year. I know whether that was an injury or what. I think people are willing to say was not a good first year between them, and they'll probably be much better together this coming season.
Well, the other thing is when you think about it, it's easy. It's low-hanging fruit to say Baker Mayfield just had a terrible year, but it's not low-hanging fruit if you say, well, he had a terrible year, but it's also, you know, they changed coaches on him, offensive coordinators on him, too many different new coaches. You don't see that too often, and I think that's a legitimate reason for people thinking that way.
Yeah, and I think everybody fairly looks at this year and says he's got two outstanding running backs. He's got two very good wide receivers. Now it looks like the tight end position is going to be improved to the point where we would say those guys are much better than average if Hooper and Bryant and Njoku are still on the team together.
And you got a fullback.
And you got a fullback. So we think the Browns have a better offensive head coach. Now, we don't know that for a fact because we were saying all the same stuff about Freddie last year at this time.
Well, not only do you not know about it, you don't really know anything about this coach. I mean, we're all rooting for him, but so far, nobody's done him any favors.
Yeah, and he hasn't even had that. You know, we've talked about this before. Just look at the challenges he's had so far. He hasn't even been able to see his team play against another team, even in practice. So, you know, it could well be one of those seasons where they don't get out of the gate particularly well, and you know they'll be judged on how well they're improving or how many games they're winning toward the end of the season.
Well, you know, timing is everything, but you got that first game against Baltimore, which is going to be a tough game. But then you come back with Cincinnati. If you can think of it in terms of just splitting the two and not get too overwhelmed on the first one against Baltimore, you got a better chance to think as you proceed into the season. I think you'd have a better chance that way, or at least psychologically you do.
Yeah, and I think the Jets show up pretty early too, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean how many years have we talked about what it would mean to this team to get off to some kind of a good start, to even win the season opener or win the home opener, things that they've been unable to do. And then they
over a 20-year period, hard to believe.
Yeah, they look back 4 weeks later and they're already with a losing record, desperate to win a game, and that, you know, you may end up making crazy decisions when you start getting desperate, personnel-wise, in the locker room with a new head coach. You end up like looking sideways at him, wondering if he really knows what he's doing when he gets off to a bad start. If Stefanski can get these guys out to a 2-1, 3-1, 4-2 start, I mean, they could end up being the team that we think they could be, and be that 9 or 10 win team one of these years.
No question about it. But don't you also get the sense that the assumption is that Baker Mayfield is going to play well for you, but do you get the sense that the defensive coordinators for these other teams are going to say, you know, I don't care if they've been downgraded by a lot of supposed experts. This team's pretty good and can do a lot of things. I just think that there's a lot of things that a defensive coordinator or head coach has to prepare for to play the Cleveland Browns this year. Now, maybe we said that. Maybe we said that in the past. I don't remember it as forcefully as I do now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were saying some of the same things last year because Beckham was here. They didn't have Kareem Hunt, you know, for the first 9 games, but we knew it. We knew that Chubb was going to be pretty good, and we, you know, all the creativity that Freddie showed late in Baker's rookie year, we thought that was just going to be, you know, a weekly, you know, fireworks display once they got on the field together, and we found out that Freddie was not, you know, the best guy to be a head coach of this team. So I think there's a lot of room for Stefanski to do better, and I really do believe he will, but I can't tell you why I'm basing what I'm basing that on right now.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations. Alex been in the business 20 years. He knows how to save you money, buys in bulk, and passes the savings right on to you. Bud Shaw and I return in a moment. Tomorrow night, Dennis Maniloff. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
I think we wrapped up install last week. So now we're really streamlining our systems on offense, defense, and special teams. I think now that we're a month into it, we have a pretty good handle at what our players are good at, what they can handle. So we'll, on offense, defense, special teams, we'll start implementing some schemes that we think could be good for us in the first couple weeks of the season. Yeah, it's been unusual for all of us, and certainly for all the 32 teams. But I think we have the right makeup in our locker room. I think the leadership from a bunch of the guys on the field, in the building, I've seen it, and pleased with where we are right now, and totally recognizing that we have a bunch more to do before we kick off this season.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask, I mean, now that you saw the scrimmage, I assume you've looked at it several times. I mean, is there something that stood out that maybe looked better than it did to the naked eye?
Yeah, I think we played mostly penalty-free on either side, which was good to see. We've been really harping on that a lot without having the games, without having officials right now. So that's something that I thought was good. And like every practice, there's so many things that we can get better at. I thought putting them through some of these situational things was good, so that we could get talk through some of our adjustments, some of the substitution things that happen in the course of a game. So all of that was really good work, and then I think we'll kind of double down on that this Friday in the stadium as well.
Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Cleveland Browns, wishing him luck. I wish him health for him and his players. That's what he needs. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Dan, who's in Hubbard, Ohio. Dan, good evening.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Okay.
Two couple quick things. On the Clevenger trade, I'm really not surprised they moved them. I wish they'd have got somebody that could help us immediately. I mean, you know, they got Naylor. He's built like Greg Luzinski. I'd hope he could hit like him. 5'11", 250. I don't see him being very graceful out the outfield. Maybe he is.
He's not there for his outfield ability, I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, but then, so we get a 250 hitter?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, that thing there, and I have a question. How good's this shortstop prospect? Are they looking for him maybe to fill in when Lindor goes? Is that maybe what
I
a thought
can't
is,
imagine
Bud?
that's the way they're going. Bud, do you think that's the way they're going with this thing?
I don't know enough about him, Dan, to tell you that whether they project him as a replacement. I do feel.
Old.
Yeah.
Well, that may tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's what made me think that. That's one thing, and as far as the Browns, I think that we both have to have Odell be better and our quarterback to be better. I think they both should be. I mean, Odell wasn't healthy last year, and you know, I don't think he busted it real hard. You never seen him and Landry and our quarterback on the field at the same time, hardly ever. And I think Stefanski's got to be an upgrade from Freddie.
Yeah, that's why I don't think you can even judge Stefanski against Freddie, because it's totally different. Totally different.
And the last question: do you think that, like we were, Bud, you were talking earlier about winning this World Series this year? I believe that this World Series is going to have an asterisk on it, anyways. So I mean, maybe preparing for next year, the year after, might be the way to go.
Yeah, Dan, I agree with that, Dan. And I know, listen, I didn't grow up in Cleveland, so I don't feel like I can speak to what it would mean to people here if the Indians won a World Series in this year. I'll defer to people who will tell me whether that's gonna scratch the itch or not. But I just know, from my standpoint, it doesn't feel like the most legitimate season. And if I'm I'm surprised that a team like the Padres is chasing it as hard as they are in a 60-game season, especially, trailing the Dodgers and being in the same division as the Dodgers.
Yeah,
but
I just wonder if somebody who's in charge of handing out championships to teams, if they just say, okay, 2020, the Cleveland Indians won. It's a truncated season. It doesn't mean anything. Let's move on. They got to wait another 50 or 60 years to win.
We don't want to see that, Les, but
yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what. You're talking to a kid that goes back to the Chico Simone days, and I'm not a kid anymore. Larry Brown, Joe Askew, Max Elvis when I was a kid. So,
you know what? Hold on one second.
What?
Dan, just think of the guys you named. Max Elvis, his career mostly shortened because of spinal meningitis, right?
Yes.
Joe Askew was the immortal Joe Askew because he got a hit in a doubleheader, and that's all he did. Who else did you mention?
Oh, Chico Simone.
Chico Simone was afraid of ghosts, right?
Daddy Wag.
Buy your rags from Daddy Wags. He broke the jaw of Larry Brown. Bud, you didn't grow up in Cleveland, but look at the examples these guys give.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Duke Sims.
Duke Sims threw a glass of whiskey, allegedly, at a young lady.
Don't you remember what Pete Franklin said after that?
Ouch.
No, he said when Duke Sims threw that glass at that woman, he didn't hurt her because he short-hopped it. I remember that.
That's a good line.
Yeah, Pete had a lot of them.
Yeah.
Let's just hope everything turns out. I don't know, but And Plesac, I thought Plesac Clevenger was a smart guy. He didn't say anything, or at least he wasn't quoted in saying anything.
Yeah, I don't get the whole thing.
Plesac had that rant on Instagram
Yeah,
or whatever.
that was not very bright.
Would like a spoiled little kid.
Yeah. All right, gotta go.
All right, hey,
Thanks.
good luck, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's take a break. We'll come back one more time with Bud Shaw, exclusively powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, joins us. You see us Monday through Friday from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's archived the rest of the day. You can check us out anytime you'd like. Bud Shaw is going to be moving to Monday nights, but that'll be 2 weeks from yesterday. He will do that as we shift around. You know, it's like a batting order that struggles, and we're just putting the names in a hat right now.
Well, I'm going to enjoy having first crack at the armchair quarterbacking of the Browns once the season starts.
It's going to be fun.
Those games on Sunday, and I can pontificate on Monday.
There you go. All right. Anything you'd like to add? Of anything we talked about tonight?
No, Les. I think the Indians have a chance of maybe quieting some of the concern in about this trade deadline. I don't know if people just had an unrealistic idea of what Clevenger was going to bring back. I know some baseball people that I follow online seem to think that the Indians got a pretty good haul. But again, they're talking about quantity and they're talking about the future, not this season.
And also, it looks like Chicago's getting better earlier than we thought they were.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, I thought that was a team that would be challenged by this 2020, COVID season that's been foisted upon us. I just thought with limited spring training, limited season, that was a team that with a bunch of young guys that needed to be out there every day for 162 games before they'd really show that potential. The potential has been there, but they look like a pretty good team right now.
All right, well, that'll do it for us. Great job by Bud Shaw. Have a great holiday coming up next Monday, and we'll see you right after that. Bud Shaw, he is terrific. What do you got there?
I didn't get the grade any.
Well, Mr. Gullible's very upset with me. He doesn't like my judging. Or what, a 7.0 for the show?
I'm giving the show. No, I'm giving. That was supposed to be a 10.0. My crap.
Gotcha. I'll see you next week. Of all the shows I've ever done, this is the most recent.